I don't usually meet people this way. One day I stumbled on this really cynical blog. The guy who wrote it seemed so bleak and funny that on a whim, I emailed him and asked if he'd like to get a drink.
I got her note and I looked her up on MySpace. Her pictures were blurry, but she was 22 and, I thought that was kind of hot.
We got to the bar and started with the getting to know you stuff. I told him how I'd just gone to this talk where David Foster Wallace and Rick Moody had talked about how fiction writers these days don't often write about real political...
I was thinking to myself, yeah, she goes to Berkeley all right.
We talked for a while and then his phone rang. I'd had a few drinks and figured it was another girl.
It was my mom, but I kind of wanted her to think it was another girl.
When he was done with the phone, he came back to the table and said all enthusiastically, "Hey, let's go for a walk."
I figured if we went outside, I would reduce the risk of getting a drink thrown in my face if I grabbed her and kissed her, which I did.
Guys don't mistake me for a one-night stand kind of girl. I was wondering, why does he think I want to kiss him? But I kissed him back. I guess I just figured, what the hell.
I could tell she was a little uncomfortable, so I don't think I pushed too hard. We went to my place for a little while.
I was there for about an hour, and he actually thought it was a good idea to show me his Playboy magazines.
Wait. Those were vintage Playboy magazines, and I was just trying to show you how funny all the old advertisements are.
I couldn't believe it. I was thinking, what a slimeball. What a weirdo.
I wasn't sure what kind of impression I had made.
I figured he'd give up because I didn't sleep with him. I was really surprised when he called the next day.
I think we dated for about a month.
I think we had sex for about a month.
I started to like her more than I expected to, but there was some kind of barrier in the way, and I could never figure out what it was.
Every time I'd really start to like and feel comfortable with him, he'd say something, not about me, but about someone else, that struck me as overly harsh and judgmental. I didn't want him to judge me that way.
I liked that she had such a sharp bullshit detector, but I sure hated it when she used it on me. I couldn't do anything cool without her calling me on it.
I felt like he was trying too hard to impress me. He seemed a little too into his karate uniform and Zippo tricks.
Every time I did the thing where you open and light the Zippo on your leg, she would just start laughing at me.
I did like him, but I just couldn't let myself trust him.
Then one day she said on the phone that she didn't want to hang out for a while because she didn't want to like me too much.
And I guess you could say that was that. I wanted to see how he was doing, so I emailed him. I don't remember what I said, but I did my best to sound friendly and happy.
I was glad to hear from her. I wrote back, and I did my best to sound smug and arrogant.
Why were you being such a dick?
It goes like this. My friend Sean always got more girls than I did, and I was just trying to say cocky, aloof things the way that he does.
I would never, never, never date your friend Sean.
It's actually very nice to hear you say that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyway, being a dick didn't seem to work on her, but I'd just gotten this basket at the thrift store, and so I asked her if she wanted to go on a picnic.
When's anyone else gonna ask me on a picnic?
So we sat on the edge of this big lake, and we talked like we hadn't talked before.
He confessed his love of Dragnet.
She said she'd always wanted to be like Agent 99 on Get Smart.
We drank a bottle of wine.
And then we went back to her place. We didn't sleep together, but we did fall asleep.
I started calling him when something good or funny happened during the day.
I did the same, and I was starting to really get into it.
You weren't really that into it.
That's so typical of you.
What do you mean?
Every time we started getting closer, you'd deliberately throw a wrench into it.
I wouldn't say that.
You never once complimented me or told me I was cute or anything.
I know.
Why?
Because you know it.
Not all the time.
Sure you do.
Even if I did, it would be nice to hear it from you.
Why?
Just because. She was out of town for a few weeks, and she called me to say that she really missed me.
He said he couldn't wait for me to get home.
We hadn't talked about if we were dating or not, but I was planning to bring it up.
He was always telling me that I meant a lot to him.
She would always say that she loved talking to me.
He said I was one of the smartest people he knew.
Then she told me I reminded her of a great literary character.
Dostoevsky's The Idiot.
I didn't know what I was supposed to think about that. She would give me these little jabs sometimes to kind of put me in my place.
That's not what I was doing at all.
The book is called The Idiot. It's pretty easy to make that mistake, don't you think?
Well, maybe if you read the book.
Look, I'll get to it.
And then he got really, really drunk at this party we went to.
That's because you were talking to that conceptual poet guy with the glasses all night.
He was a really nice, intelligent man.
I'm sure he's read The Idiot.
What about that time I came over just as you were kissing one of your girlfriends goodbye?
Elizabeth is just a friend, and I told you that, and I kiss a lot of my friends on the forehead.
Oh, really?
Maybe I was just seeing if you'd get jealous because you never seem to give a shit.
It didn't make me jealous. It just made me totally confused.
Look, what do you want?
I don't know. Why don't you tell me what you want first?
No, you first.
No, you first.
Tell me, what do you want?
No. What do you want?